More than 3,100 Illinois Christian home educators recently held their annual state convention at Calvary Church in Naperville. The organization's Kirk Smith tells IllinoisFamily.org he wants to grow Christ-centered home education in Illinois. Executive Director Kirk Smith, this convention seems to be growing every year. Why do you suppose interest in Christian home education is growing?
Well, I think some of it is a reaction to the public school, which we actually don't recommend. We want people who homeschool to do so out of proactivity, what homeschool has to offer in the pros, not what the public school has to take away from. And so I think a lot of people are understanding that there are so many good aspects to homeschooling, not just religious freedoms, which is of course a big one, but it's just the overall, the context of the family. The family is the basic building unit of a culture, and I think many people are coming back to that.
And you're really getting some great results.
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, according to Brian Ray, a recent study, 94% of homeschoolers keep their faith after they leave high school, compared to 66 to 88% in the typical evangelical community who leave the faith. So we understand that methodology matters. It's not just about motivation, it's how we do things. And if we do things according to the scriptures, aka Deuteronomy chapter 6, we'll tend to get God's results.
And the quality of education in many cases surpasses what government schools are offering.
Absolutely. I was a high school teacher. My wife was an L-Ed teacher. And just the simple fact of the student-teacher ratio, for one thing, we can individualize more. And then secondly, it's a nurturing environment. There's encouragement. There's not the sarcasm from other kids or the bullying. It's the fact that kids can be raised in a nurturing environment and be encouraged and not be discouraged.
Well, you've mentioned that it is growing, the Christian home education movement. Is it growing in all segments of Illinois society, among blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians?
Yes, it is. All across the board, we're seeing numbers rise everywhere. And that's encouraging because it's not just one people group. Everyone is seeing the needs in their family to take responsibility. And it's especially encouraging when the dads get involved. There's so many statistics talking about dad outside the homeschooling experience, but it's also true within the homeschooling experience. When the dads get involved, great things happen.
Well, are some of the negatives also helping to grow the Christian home education movement? I'm thinking in terms of liberal sex ed and the growing threat of the gay agenda indoctrination in public schools.
Absolutely, there's no question that's going on, and it should. You know, as Christian parents, we are called by God to steward our children, and the Bible says that when a student is fully trained, he'll be no better than his teacher or his masters. And so if we set our kids underneath ungodly teaching, ungodly teachers, though there are some great godly teachers in the public school community, but nevertheless, we can't send our kids to the Gentile world or the pagan world and expect them to come back as Christians. It's just not going to work that way. And so many parents are taking that responsibility, God gave them responsibility, to raise their kids in the fear and admonition of the Lord.
Got a couple of goals you can tell us about?
To get everybody to homeschool is one. I just believe in homeschooling. Number one, it's the scriptural precedent. It's the most consistent way to raise our kids. There are some exceptions in people's cases, but we see that home discipleship is the biblical norm. So we want to grow the organization in width, but we especially want to grow it in depth. We are going back to our roots. We are going back to the fact that we're teaching people it is the fear of the Lord that gives knowledge and wisdom, and we believe a solid foundation will produce a great structure on top of that.
If people would like more information about the Illinois Christian home education movement, what should they do?
The best place is to go to our website, www.iche.org.
Kirk Smith, the Executive Director of Illinois Christian Home Educators. ICHE holds its adult family picnic and canoe outing on August 30th at the Blackwell Forest Preserve in Warrenville, and its family camp September 4th through 7th at the Timberley Christian Center in East Troy, Wisconsin. For IllinoisFamily.org News, I'm Monty Larrick.
This has been brought to you by the Illinois Family Institute, promoting marriage, family, life, and liberty in the land of Lincoln. For more information, go to IllinoisFamily.org.